It's not just all in their head. There's some crazy people out there.
There are. I've met one or two.
Yeah.
One of them squatted 1306.
So let me ask you this. Why do you think, I'm not a physiotherapist, my background's actually in massage therapy.
Yeah, I remember.
So why do you think that even though you get your doctorate when you're a physio here in the States, we call them physical therapists, PTs, everywhere else seems to call them physios, but why is it they get their doctorate? They're a doctor by their name.
Yes.
And they can't even begin to assess a back.
You get doctors of chiropractic, you get doctors of osteopathy, you get doctors of physiotherapy, physical therapy.
Yeah.
A doctorate is not a standard of truth. If you go do a doctorate program somewhere, it's a different doctorate program somewhere else.
Right.
There is no established known truth to which that standard must be reached. So I have this fun because I get the opportunity to lecture to often the final year doctorate class at one of the universities. It has always happened, without exception. And I talked this with a room full of professionals, even after graduation. Okay, they can be 5 years down, they can be 10 years. One of my first questions I ask is, okay, who in this room can tell me what is the muscle that controls your lumbar lordosis most effectively? And the whole place is quiet. No one will put up their hand. No one knows what muscle group, what muscle will hold your lumbar lordosis most effectively.
What muscle is it?
They'll be your thoracic erectors. We can go from McGill's work there. It's your iliocostalis and longissimus thoracic components have the most effective ability to hold the lumbar lordosis. And then we go to the next level, which is your lumbar musculature, the pars lumborum, and their job is to provide the shear force protection against the anterior shear. Anterior shear upper body, posterior shear supplied by pars lumborum. That's why when you flex your lumbar spine towards end range and try and lift, you lose the posterior shear component and now you've got pure compression.
Right.
Now, this is work McGill's demonstrated, it's biomechanically demonstrated, and you're about to graduate with a doctor of physical therapy and you can't tell me what muscle controls your lumbar spine.
Right.
That's just, you've been at the university 6 years, 8 years, some more.
Yeah, 8 years.
And yet you're about to graduate and you can't tell me the most simple thing.
Yeah.
What muscle group controls this?
Or I talked to a couple of PTs and they wanted me to see their client or their patient for their back pain, and it's just like basic disc bulge. They're having them do a bunch of bendy, twisty stuff. It's like remove all the stuff they're doing, have them walk, stabilize a little bit, and just leave it alone for a little while, and then start progressing them with little things. But they're always having them do way too much stretching, is what I see. Just stretching and bending for someone that doesn't stretch or bend well or feel good when they do it.
So the whole thing about it is that the educational system has failed everyone for so long.
Yeah.
And when I was lucky enough to graduate, I had very good lecturers.
Right.
And there are some memorable ones within that who gave me some good basics.
Right.
But as soon as I graduated, I had to turn around to a friend of mine and said, okay, what are we worst at?
Right.
What did the university teach us least about? And he looked at me and said, lower backs.
Yeah.
Good. Well,
why is that, you think?
Because universities are political these days more than ever.
Yep, for sure.
They've got to make money.
Yeah.
How do you get money? Get grants.
Right.
Right, to get grants, you're going to have to run research.
Right.
Now, that research not necessarily is going to be the research that's going to give you the best answer. It's the one that's going to bring the most money in towards the programs at the university. So you'll get a whole bunch of lumbar spine research that's going to support certain approaches that those universities are trying to sell, such as pain science.
Right.
Right, well, don't teach pain science at a university until you can teach your students how to assess and exclude the biomechanical factors before you move into behaviour.
Right.
That's the basic setup that should be done. It's not.
Right.
They're taught, maybe this is all stress, maybe this is what, well, you're not psychologists.
Assess it first.
Yeah, and you haven't got a degree in behaviour anyway, so just get damn good at what you should be able to do.
Right. Simple tests.
Straightforward.
Biomechanical tests, spend some time with them. What are the demands of what they're trying to do? Are they just, there's some cases where people are just like, if I sit more than an hour and 5 minutes, this starts happening, and they start doing they got some stuff going on. They need some therapy. It's not the majority of the cases that are existing out there. It's not just all in their head. There's some crazy people out there.
There are. I've met one or two.
Yeah.
One of them squatted 1306. Yeah. But it is an intriguing thing is that the universities are basically not really educating. So
No,
you're just
indoctrinating with what they want.
Yeah, but now because the chiropractors call themselves doctors, the physical therapists suddenly realise they had a marketing disadvantage. So perhaps we better run a doctorate course as well.
Yeah.
To me, that was a marketing decision.
Makes sense because it didn't change.
Yeah, nothing changed at all. Except the universities make another, I don't know, 40 grand for another year.
Yeah.
Tack that one on. But they're not graduating people who know the basics. So if I'll go back to say the first when I graduated, the first thing available was the Mackenzie courses.
Right.
So now what was Mackenzie was wonderful about it was Mackenzie is a philosophy.
I love the way he discovered it.
Yeah, through a total mistake.
It's hilarious.
What a great moment.
Yeah.
And then to have the inquiring mind to say,
How?
So how did that happen?
Yeah.
You know, not to go home and just, I won't do that again.
Right.
It was, how did that happen?
Right. Looking for the answer to your sleepless nights, sore muscles, and better overall well-being? If so, PowerX Strength CBD has you covered. All of our products are made of CBD isolate and have 0% THC, meaning there are no worries of failing a drug test or the worry of feeling high. With PowerX Strength CBD, we offer a wide range of products and payment options to ensure you have the option that best fits your needs. Don't just take it from me. All of our reviews and client testimonials on our site speak for themselves. You can even get 20% off your order by using code YT1306 at checkout. Go to powerxstrengthcbd.com to order now so you can get back to sleeping, recovering, lifting, feeling, and being better.
So the Mackenzie approach taught me directional preference understanding.
Yeah.
Now, Miguel's directional preference. Mackenzie's directional preference passive, and there's no active component to it.
Yeah.
It's put the body in this position and let's see if it centralizes or peripheralizes the symptoms.
Yeah.
Basically, when you get down to the bottom of it. Because centralization is a predictor of who's going to respond to conservative therapy, especially in those ones.
Yeah.
Well, the Mackenzie approach to that is basically foolproof. This will tell you which direction to go, and then you just have to think about how to put the person in that position or create a movement around it.
Yeah.
Now, the only problem is it's a purely passive approach. There's no active components into it.
Yeah.
And that's where really when I went back and was going through the medical libraries, that's the first ran into Stu McGill's name. And I thought, here's this paper, this is interesting.
Yeah.
It was right next to a paper I was probably chasing up somewhere else, and I saw an interesting title.
Right.
So I ran into his work well before Low Back Disorders was printed, and was finding I was collecting his work because it was the active understanding. So we suddenly see this is then we go back to Punjabi's neutral zone theory. If you injure the passive structure, then you're going to have an active structure that has to have a motor control program that protects the passive structure. Mm-hmm. And so here it was I had Mackenzie's passive structure. You've got a passive structure injured. Now you've got Punjabi tells us that we can help that passive structure if we use an active strategy, find a weakness being motor control usually, treats the pattern, and you're going to have a stable human being.
Right.
And suddenly it all comes together. That's why I use both approaches in theory all the time.
Yeah.
And that's where I learned to do shoulders from. It wasn't Mackenzie, but it was Mackenzie theory. It was use this in this direction, use that in that direction. And now let's think about basic physiology. If you turn that muscle on, that one inhibits. If I turn that one on face down to lift up a stick, you'll get more active range.
Which, out of all those different shoulder positions that you've learned, you got the lock 4 now. You got the hands on the back of the head, lifting up. You got the hands down, palms lifting with the thumb, palms up, right, and then out to the T.
Yeah.
Basically, right? Those 4.
That's it, yep.
Which ones did you discover were like big failures? Which were the ones that are like, we got to get that one out because it's tweaking. It's like making them worse. There's got to be a couple angles you tried and failed with.
No, I'm pretty boring. I only think in 90-degree angles.
But do you understand what I'm saying, though?
Yeah, so what I did.
Because a lot of people like to do the goalposts.
Yep.
And they'll like to do,
I never went there.
Yeah.
No, I would use those in certain rehabs, but they're not part of the what I figured was just the
Foundational.
basis. Foundation. What did change was the order. Because I used to start with T position.
You did when you showed me.
Yeah, that's where I started.
I can't believe you told me wrong.
No, it was right.
It was right at the time.
It was right
You
for-
updated.
was right for you anyway.
continued to evolve.
Yeah, so I switched between that being first or palms up internal rotation being first.
Got it.
Depending on the patient population, it's like we do with RIA. I took it number 4 first.
Yeah, you did.
So all I did is
You
manipulate.
played jazz. You just had to move around because that's what the assessment was telling you.
Immediately, yeah, we were going in the right place for that straight away. Hit the most important point.
Yeah.
And now we're going, instead of creeping up on it, which we often have to do,
Right.
no, with hers it's confronted immediately. And post-activation performance enhancement, then put it into another movement. And all the other ones then help that movement.
What are the worst shoulder exercises that you see people that are, like the stretching for the low back, knee to chest, Jefferson curls for the low back for trying to rehab it? Let's just say those are a couple examples of common back things that are just like, oh man, that's probably not going to be good. What are some things for the shoulder?
It would be the dead hang for most people.
The dead hang.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, turn all that muscle off. I don't think joints really enjoy having all the muscle off under.
And then the joints being really traumatized, isn't it?
At that position too, if you've got any dysfunction in the shoulder, you'll probably increase it. That's the thing about, I think, more about the humeral position under the acromion.
Hope you enjoyed today's video. Remember, like, subscribe, share, click the notifications because we drop videos twice a week. We also have a live stream every Friday where I answer your questions. Click below to see the latest video that we uploaded. Also, for our products, our CBD, our books that correspond with these videos, it's down in the description. For more information about all things Brian Carroll and Power Rack Strength, go to powerrackstrength.com. You could book a consult both virtually and in person with me. Enjoy your week, and thank you so much.